Most drivers don't realize this, but your car's engine has a silent breaking point, and you might be pushing it closer with every drive. Manufacturers test their engines to the max before selling them, but what happens when you unknowingly push yours past its limit? Engine maintenance isn't just about post-drive care. It's about every decision behind the wheel. A well-cared-for engine means smooth drives, solid mileage, and a lasting car. Neglect it, and you'll be dealing with rough rides, high repair costs, and enough emissions to make a smoke machine jealous. This list of 13 tips is a game changer for engine health. But here's the kicker. There's a bonus secret tucked at the end that most drivers completely miss. This one tip alone could save you thousands in repairs and keep your car running like new. Stick until the end, and you'll be miles ahead of everyone else. Skip it, and you can end up with a seized engine. Tip number 1, don't switch the engine off immediately. Switching off your car's engine right after stopping might seem fine, but it can cause long-term damage, especially for turbocharged engines. Here's why and what to do instead. When you stop, let the engine idle for about 30 seconds to 1 minute before turning it off. This allows the turbocharger to cool down properly. Turbochargers run extremely hot, and turning the engine off too soon can cause the oil inside to overheat and boil. Over time, this can damage the turbo. Idling also helps the radiator and fan circulate coolant, clearing excess heat from the engine. This stabilizes the temperature and prevents sudden changes that could stress the engine. Check your car's manual to see if it has an automated fan system. Some modern cars cool the engine bay even after you turn off the engine. If your car has this feature, you don't need to idle as long. Tip number 2, use original equipment manufacturer OEM parts for critical components. Using non-OEM parts for critical components can lead to serious consequences for your vehicle. Let's break it down. First, a non-OEM thermostat may fail to regulate engine temperature properly. This can cause overheating or cooling inefficiencies, which lead to reduced performance or even permanent engine damage. Next, an aftermarket radiator cap might not maintain the correct pressure in the cooling system. Over time, this can result in coolant loss and overheating. Two things no engine can withstand for long. Now, think about the water pump. A poorly made aftermarket pump could develop leaks or fail prematurely. That's a fast track to engine overheating or a complete breakdown. Finally, a non-OEM timing belt or its components might wear out faster or fail entirely. If the timing belt snaps, it can lead to catastrophic engine damage, like bent valves or even damaged pistons. Tip number 3, replace transmission fluid. Replace the transmission fluid as the manufacturer recommends, usually every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. But if you tow a lot or drive a car with known transmission issues, take it a step further. Install an auxiliary transmission cooler. It helps lower oil temperatures, which means better lubrication and less wear on parts like clutch bands and gears. With proper care, your transmission could last over 500,000 miles. When servicing, replace all the fluid, not just part of it. A DIY flush method works best since regular fluid changes leave behind 40 to 60% of the old fluid. That leftover fluid can hurt performance over time. Tip number 4, lubricating O-rings. Dry O-rings can be a real headache during installation. Without lubrication, they're at risk of tearing or sitting improperly, and that can lead to leaks, or worse, system failure. Here's the fix. Always use a silicone-based lubricant, like X100. It's safe, gentle on rubber, and won't cause any reactions. Just apply it evenly over the O-ring. Then, insert it gently by hand. You should hear a small pop when it's seated correctly. Don't force it with tools or bolts if it doesn't fit smoothly. Take a moment to check the alignment instead. Tip number 5, check your fuel system. Your car's fuel system is its lifeline. Here's how to take care of it. First, Don't let your fuel level drop below a quarter tank. Over time, fuel tanks collect sediments and water. Running on low fuel can suck these into the fuel pump, clogging the filter or damaging fuel lines. Plus, the fuel pump relies on fuel for cooling. Regularly driving on low fuel can cause it to overheat and fail. A new pump can cost $500 or more, so it's not worth the risk. Check and replace your fuel filter per your manual, usually every 50,000 kilometers. A clean filter keeps contaminants out of the engine. Fuel injectors, which deliver fuel precisely, should be cleaned every 30,000 kilometers to maintain performance and mileage. Refer to your manual for replacement intervals, as they vary by car. Tip number 6. Check your engine cooling system. Start by checking the coolant level. Look for the translucent expansion tank under the hood, usually filled with green or pink coolant. It should sit between the min and max marks. Low coolant can slow your car, hurt mileage, and even mess with your AC. If it's low, top it up with the coolant recommended in your manual. Replace coolant every 20,000 kilometers or 2 years for conventional types, or up to 100,000 kilometers or 10 years for extended life coolant. Next, inspect the radiator and fan. Check the radiator for bent fins or leaks. They're common from road debris. If the fan isn't working, your car might overheat when idling. Fix or replace it if needed. Finally, check the water pump. It keeps coolant circulating. Inspect its belt for proper tension or wear. Replace the belt or pump if it's worn. Dirty coolant can clog radiator fins, short out sensors, or cause overheating. Using extended life antifreeze, which lasts 5 years or 150,000 miles and costs just $3 more, is a smart upgrade. Tip number 7. Prevent lack of lubrication. A lack of lubrication can ruin your engine fast, but don't worry, avoiding it is simple. First, change your oil on time. It sounds basic, but skipping an oil change means dirty oil is circulating through your engine, and dirty oil doesn't lubricate well. Second, consider switching to synthetic oil. Even if your car doesn't need it, synthetic oil is better. It reduces friction and protects critical parts, like piston rings and bearings. Here's another key tip. Always use the right oil viscosity. Your owner's manual tells you exactly what to use. In my case, it's 10W30. Using the wrong thickness can mess with lubrication, especially during startups. Startups are when most engine wear happens. Your oil pump hasn't yet pressurized at startup, so parts like piston rings are exposed. After an oil change, it's worse because the new filter is empty. To reduce that risk, pre-fill the oil filter if it installs vertically. Turn off the fuel system by pulling the fuel pump relay or injector fuse if it's at an angle. Then, crank the engine for 3 10-second intervals. This primes the system safely. Alternatively, use clear flood mode. Hold the gas pedal fully down while cranking the engine. However, you must press the clutch pedal also if your car has a manual transmission. This prevents fuel injection, allowing the oil pump to build pressure safely before starting. But here's the juicy bit. Are you making oil change mistakes that could wreck your engine? Find out in 17 costly oil change mistakes that ruin your engine fast. Tip number 8. Engine warm-up. Modern engines don't need long idling like older cars did. In fact, letting your car idle for too long can do more harm than good. It wastes fuel, and the extra wear can lead to costly repairs. Here's what to do. Start your car, let it run for about 30 seconds, then start driving gently. Don't rev the engine or push it hard right away. Keep your RPMs low for 5 to 10 minutes and avoid full throttle. Check your temperature gauge. It's best to wait until it hits the middle range before driving normally. Why is this important? Cold oil doesn't flow as well, so it can't protect your engine like it should. Plus, a warmed-up catalytic converter reduces emissions by up to 90%. Tip number 9. Avoid hard acceleration. Hard acceleration burns way more fuel, up to 30% more, and costs you extra every time you fill up. Here's what you should do. Press the gas pedal gently and keep your RPMs below 3,000 during normal driving. If you're merging onto a highway, you can accelerate firmly, but don't slam the pedal down. Pay attention to traffic flow and aim for smooth, steady driving instead of speeding between stops. Why is this so important? Hard acceleration puts serious stress on parts like tension belts. If one of them snaps, repairs could cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,000. It also makes your engine run hotter. Over time, this can shut down systems like the air conditioner, leaving you stuck in a hot, uncomfortable car. Tip number 10. Clean or change your engine air filter. Your engine needs clean air to work efficiently. The air filter makes that happen by keeping dirt and debris out. But a dirty air filter chokes the engine, reducing performance and fuel efficiency. It's an easy fix that many car owners overlook. Here's what to do. Most car manufacturers recommend cleaning the air filter every 5,000 kilometers and replacing it every 20,000 kilometers. Check your owner's manual for your car's exact schedule. To clean it yourself, remove the filter from its housing, usually a simple process using basic tools. Tap it gently to remove dust, or use compressed air to blow debris out. If the filter looks worn, damaged, or clogged, it's time to replace it. A new filter typically costs $20 to $50. Tip number 11. Replace the timing belt on time. If your engine is equipped with a timing belt, especially an interference engine, you must replace it on time. The timing belt controls when your intake and exhaust valves open in relation to the position of your piston. On an interference engine, the piston and valves occupy the same space inside your engine. If the timing belt breaks or slips, your valves will hit your piston, causing catastrophic engine failure. Tip number 12, don't ignore signs. Your car talks to you. It's up to you to listen. Ignoring the signs could cost you big. So here's what to watch for and what to do. First, if you hear squealing or ticking, it's likely a worn or slipping belt. Get it checked right away. A quick fix costs around $100 to $200. Next, look for leaks. Oil or coolant under your car is a warning. Check the oil dipstick. It should be between the minimum and maximum marks. And don't ignore colored exhaust smoke. Black, blue, or white smoke means something's wrong. Fuel, oil, or coolant could be burning where it shouldn't. Finally, pay attention to dashboard warnings. Those lights aren't decorations, they're telling you what needs fixing. All right, you've made it this far. Now it's time to reveal the one game-changing secret that could transform your engine's performance. Let me share a secret that most people have never heard of: using water to clean your engine. I know it sounds wild, but this method isn't just safe, it's highly effective. Here's the deal. Carbon buildup inside your engine can choke its performance over time. It lowers power, hurts fuel economy, and even damages critical parts. But a simple trick, water injection, can solve this problem. When you spray water as a fine mist into the engine, it turns into steam. That steam breaks down tough carbon deposits. Here's how you can do it yourself. Start with a spray bottle filled with distilled water. Tap water isn't great because it leaves residue. Next, warm up your engine first. It needs to be at operating temperature. With the engine idling, spray small bursts of water into the intake manifold or throttle body. Go slow, just a mist every second or two. What happens next is almost magical. The steam scrubs away carbon deposits, restoring horsepower and improving fuel efficiency. And here's the kicker, it even lowers emissions. This is the kind of maintenance trick mechanics rarely talk about, but it works wonders. Think of it as a deep clean for your engine. Try this every 20,000 miles. and your car will feel like it's running brand new. If you're unsure about doing it yourself, talk to a mechanic. Thanks for sticking around. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insider car care advice. And next, check out 13 car maintenance tips no mechanics would tell you. It's packed with secrets you can't miss.